in the chaos of war, amidst the thunder of guns and the cries of the fallen. There are bonds that transcend training, nationality, even species. Bonds that defy explanation. Bonds that whisper to us that perhaps, just perhaps, we are not alone in this world, nor the next. I'm Sarah, and this is the Afterlife Files. Tonight, Jim brings us 3 stories of soldiers and the dogs who found them when hope was lost. These are not myths. These are documented facts from the official archives of 2 world wars. Stories of 4-legged guardians who led the lost back to the living.
January 1940, the French countryside. Bitter cold. Czech airman Robert Bozdech lies in a ditch, his plane shot down behind enemy lines, shrapnel in his shoulder. German patrols sweeping the fields around him. He should stay low, he should stay silent, he should think only of survival. Instead, he hears something that stops his heart. Not a soldier's boot, not a tank's rumble. A puppy, crying. Bozdech knows better. Every instinct trained into him screams, move, evade, survive. But the crying continues, cutting through the artillery like a blade of light in that frozen darkness. He crawls back against every order, against every law of self-preservation. He finds her in a ruined farmhouse, a German shepherd puppy, alone, shivering, no more than 8 weeks old. Her eyes meet his. The crying stops. He tucks her inside his flight jacket, against his chest, against his heart. Now he has 2 lives to save. The German patrols draw closer. Bozdech crawls through the snow on his belly, the puppy silent beneath his leather jacket, as though she understands the stakes, as though she knows that one bark means death for them both. She doesn't make a sound, not once. 3 miles. 4. His fingers turn black with frostbite. His wound seeps through his flight suit, but the puppy's warmth against his chest keeps him moving. He reaches the French lines at dawn. The sentries find a man half dead from cold, a German shepherd pup peeking from his jacket, licking his face. He named her Antis. She flew with him on 27 combat missions. She woke him from nightmares. She once walked 2 miles through bombed-out streets to find him. But it was that first night, that frozen, impossible night behind enemy lines, that binds them forever. A pilot who risked everything for a puppy who asked nothing and gave him a reason to live. The bond began with an act of utter foolishness, or perhaps the only kind of wisdom that matters.
Our second story takes us to North Africa, 1943.
Company Quartermaster Sergeant Bob Cleggett kneels in the sand, his patrol huddled behind a low ridge. They're 4 miles inside enemy lines. No backup, no radio contact, just 12 men, a map, and a black and white collie cross named Bob. Bob is not a military dog. He's a stray who wandered into camp 6 months ago and refused to leave. Cleggett feeds him scraps. Bob sleeps at the foot of his cot. No one trained him, no one commands him. But tonight, Bob is the one giving orders. Cleggett signals the advance. His men rise to their knees. Bob does not move. The dog stands rigid, ears flat, tail low. His body is a statue, his eyes fixed on the darkness ahead. Cleggett whispers, "What is it, boy?" No wag, no recognition of his name, just that absolute stillness, a living barometer of danger. Cleggett knows this dog. He's seen Bob chase rabbits, beg for biscuits, roll in camel dung. He's never seen Bob like this. He raises his fist. The patrol freezes. 30 seconds pass. Then, a whisper from the scout. "Sir, enemy, 20 yards, dug in, a machine gun nest, hidden in shadow, perfect ambush." If Bob had taken 1 step forward, if Cleggett hadn't trusted the silence of a dog. They withdrew without a sound, not a shot fired, not a man lost. The official report doesn't use words like miracle or guardian angel. It simply states, the dog's refusal to advance alerted the patrol to the presence of enemy forces. But Cleggett knew the truth. Bob wasn't refusing to advance. He was refusing to let them die.
Our final story, a different war, a different bond, one that asks us, in the end, whose side is loyalty on?
It's 1944, the Hürtgen Forest, American lines. Corporal James Reitzel huddles in his foxhole as German artillery pounds the ridge. The bombardment has been relentless for hours. The men are exhausted, hollow-eyed, running on caffeine and fear. And then, movement. Not a soldier, not a shadow, a dog. She emerges from the smoke, coat matted with mud, ribs visible beneath her fur. No collar, no tags, but she wears the unmistakable posture of a dog who once belonged to someone. She walks past the perimeter wire without hesitation, past the sentry, straight to Rachel's foxhole, and lies down at his feet. The men call her Frau, a joke at first, the German dog who defected. But Frau doesn't seem to understand borders or allegiances. She only understands that the men in this hole have not fired at her, have not driven her away. She stays. Days pass. Frau learns their scents, their voices, their moods. She sleeps curled against Reitzel's legs, her head on his pack. She doesn't bark at the American patrols. She doesn't flinch at their language. She simply chose. One night, 3 weeks later, Reitzel is on watch. The forest is silent, too silent. Frau's ears snap forward. A low growl forms in her chest, not aggression, warning. Reitzel peers into the darkness, sees nothing, trusts the dog. He wakes his lieutenant. The patrol is alerted, and when the German infiltration team reaches the wire, they are met with fire. After the war, Reitzel tried to bring Frau home. Quotas, regulations, red tape. He fought for months, but the dog who crossed enemy lines could not cross the Atlantic. He never forgot her, wrote about her for decades, called her his guardian, a German shepherd who defected from the Reich, a defector who saved the men who fed her. Loyalty, it seems, has no flag.
Antis, who was carried through enemy fire in a pilot's jacket, Bob, who refused to walk into death, Frau, who crossed a battlefield to find a new family. 3 dogs, 3 wars, 3 impossible rescues. The archives call them morale boosters, or mascots, or simply pets. The men who served with them knew better. They were guardians, sentinels, comfort in the foxhole, and courage in the dark. We like to think we train dogs. We teach them sit, stay, fetch. We assign them ranks and give them medals. But perhaps, when the guns fall silent and the records are sealed, perhaps the truest thing we can say is this: they chose us. And sometimes, that choice saved everything. I'm Sarah. This has been the Afterlife Files. Until next time, listen to the silence.